Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have a wonderful guest in studio today. It's Scott Brower, and he's from the law offices of Scott A. Brower. So, Scott, welcome.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about the law you practice.
I do just about exclusively real estate law, helping people buy and sell homes, residential, some commercial. I also do a little bit of estate planning for some of my clients.
That's great. Tell me, we often don't see our real estate attorney when it's going right. Tell me what role you play in that transaction and how that works.
And I do think if you don't see me, that's probably a good thing. That means everything's going smoothly and everything's going well. But my role is hopefully an A to Z approach. Okay. We're going to take the contract when we get it. We're going to go through it, review it, go over it with our clients to make sure there's not any concerns that we have. And at the end of the day, we're going to go to the closing table with you, explain all the documents, and make sure that you own a house when it's all said and done. But it's what's in between that a lot of people don't see. We're ordering payoffs for mortgages. We're looking at surveys. We're reviewing title documents to make sure that you do actually own the house that you're buying. And so there's a lot of things that go on in the middle of it all that people don't see, and hopefully it's a pretty seamless transition from the date that you get the contract until the date that you own the home.
That's wonderful. Scott, why is it important that we have an attorney with us? It seems sometimes it might be, something that our real estate agent could take care of themselves. But why do we need you?
I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't understand the role of the attorney, but a lot of these people also don't take into account that you're making the biggest financial decision of your life probably in buying a home, and you're borrowing hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're now responsible to pay back. And so that's where I can come in. Again, as I alluded to earlier, we're looking at those documents, making sure that you're getting the right house, making sure that everything that's on that property is taken care of appropriately and responsibly, so that at the end of the day, you don't have anything to worry about once you're moved in or moved out of that house.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, now when you put it that way, it is the largest purchase. So why not have an attorney? How has your role changed?
I think it's expanded over the last several years. I think initially, when I got into real estate and started working on this stuff, you would get a contract, you'd review it with the client, and then you would head off and do the closing with them. But we've now come into a time where I'm helping people with home inspections. You get an inspection when you buy a house, or when somebody's selling a house, the buyer will get an inspection. And there's lots of issues that come out of that need to be addressed. So I'm involved in that aspect of it. I'm involved in helping you with your lender, making sure that they have all the documents they need to make sure that the transaction goes very smoothly. And so I think what's happened is it's kind of all that middle stuff that we talked about that has really grown since the early on when I started doing this. It was just a contract and a closing, and now there's all these things that go on in between that we take care of.
How has the internet impacted your business?
I think it's impacted us in the sense that there's a lot of people that read the internet and take it as true. And so I think there's a lot of things that go into it to say, I'll have clients call me and say, well, I read on the internet that this is what's going to happen. And it's not always the way that it really happens. The laws don't always come across on the internet as true. It's also changed the market in the sense that people are a lot more cost conscious. They're a lot more informed in many ways as well, as far as what goes on in this process. I get a lot more calls of people that said, hey, I researched this on the internet, and here's what's going on. And, it's a wonderful tool, but we also have to be careful with how we use it.
And, Scott, how do we find you? Is it usually through the recommendation of a realtor, or can we contract you ourselves? How do we do that?
90% of my business is through realtors.
Okay.
You will find your realtor, go out and buy a house, and they'll say, do you have an attorney to use? And if not, then I hopefully am one of them that they're recommending.
Nice.
But I certainly work with people that are selling by owner. They can look me up on the internet. I have it from friends and family, former clients that will refer me. But the bulk of my business comes from real estate agents.
How do you work with the lender? Because that's another important partner in this transaction.
Sure. We probably are with the lender just as much as we're with the real estate agent. The lender needs all sorts of documents to be able to close a house, title, and they're working with their clients to get that information. But on pretty much a daily basis, we're dealing with lenders on what they need from our end as far as title, contracts, any other closing documents they would need to help close the deal.
Do you have a preference, or do you find yourself working more with first-time home buyers or more seasoned buyers or sellers? Does it make a difference?
It runs the gamut. I love working with first-time home buyers because they're super excited, and it's kind of fun to watch them get into that first house. But I'm also dealing with people that have been in their house for 40 years and it's time to downsize. So we kind of work with anybody and everybody that wants to buy or sell their home.
Great. And how does your practice differ from other real estate attorneys? What makes you stand out?
I hope it's communication. I pride myself on giving my clients access to me, and I don't think a lot of attorneys do that. You may talk to a paralegal or a legal assistant who's helping with that transaction, and I have a wonderful staff, and I would trust them with any of my clients. But I want my clients to be able to talk to me, to know that I'm involved in their file, to know that I'm helping them through this process, and I'll give them any information they need to get a hold of me so that they can get a hold of us.
What's the best part of your job, Scott? What do you like? People?
People. I've done other areas of law in the past, and I love working with people. I love meeting people. I love talking to people, getting to know them. I'm hoping that when they come to my office, I'm getting clients for life because I want them to be able to always have access to us. But that's the best part of my job.
That's wonderful. Scott, so nice to meet you. We wish you a lot of luck. We're going to be right back with more Business Connections. Stay tuned.